8 signs someone is a hypocrite. Don't overlook this Zen lessons. What if the person giving you advice about honesty is lying to your face right now? What if the friend preaching about loyalty is already planning to betray you? Zen masters spent centuries studying human nature, and they discovered something disturbing. Hypocrites aren't just common, they're everywhere. And they have specific patterns that most people completely miss. Today, I'm going to reveal the 8 signs that ancient Zen teachings use to spot a hypocrite before they damage your life. If you've ever felt like something was off about someone, you were right. I'm going to share the exact methods Zen masters developed to see through spiritual pretense and moral masks. This isn't about becoming judgmental, it's about developing the discernment that protects your energy and your peace. Because here's what the Buddha understood: hypocrites don't just harm others. They poison the spiritual atmosphere around them. They make authentic people doubt themselves and genuine teachers look suspicious. So if you're ready to develop X-ray vision for authenticity, and protect yourself from people who weaponize virtue, let's begin. 1. The Virtue Megaphone. Sign number 1, they can't do good without an audience. Zen master Yunmen taught, true virtue flows like water, silent, natural, and without announcement. Watch how people talk about their good deeds. Authentic people help others quietly. They don't need to broadcast every donation, every act of kindness, every moment of compassion. But hypocrites? They need witnesses for their virtue. They can't help someone without posting about it. They can't pray without making sure everyone knows they're spiritual. They can't be generous without keeping a public scoreboard. In Buddhism, this is called merit-seeking, doing good for social credit rather than genuine compassion. It's virtue as performance art, not authentic character. Here's the tell: if someone constantly reminds you how good they are, they're probably not. Real virtue doesn't need a marketing campaign because it speaks for itself through consistent actions. 2. The Excuse Factory. Sign number 2, they manufacture justifications for every contradiction. The Buddha taught that truth is simple, but deception requires elaborate explanations. Hypocrites are master engineers of excuse-making. They preach honesty but lie when convenient, it was just to protect their feelings. They advocate compassion but treat servers rudely, I was having a stressful day. They talk about forgiveness but hold decade-old grudges, what they did was unforgivable. Zen master Joshu said, the great way has no gate. But hypocrites build elaborate gates around their contradictions, complex reasoning that makes their failures seem reasonable. Listen for this phrase, yes, but. Everything after, but, is usually the excuse that negates everything before it. They've created a mental architecture where every rule has an exception, and they're always the exception. Authentic people admit when they fall short. Hypocrites explain why they never really fell at all. 3. The Moral Sliding Scale. Sign number 3, they judge others by their actions but themselves by their intentions. This is the classic hypocrite signature. They demand perfection from others while granting themselves infinite mercy. When someone cuts them off in traffic, that person is a selfish jerk. When they cut someone off, they're just late for something important. When others make mistakes, it's character failure. When they make mistakes, it's circumstances. The Zen concept of equal mind means treating yourself and others with the same standard of compassion and accountability. Hypocrites have split mind, harsh judgment for others, gentle understanding for themselves. They're furious when someone doesn't return their call but frequently ignore others. They expect punctuality from everyone but show up late themselves. They demand loyalty but betray trust when it serves them. This reveals something profound. They don't actually believe in the standards they preach. If they did, they'd apply them consistently. Instead, morality becomes a weapon they use against others, not a compass they follow themselves. 4. The Jekyll and Hyde Syndrome. Sign number 4, they're completely different people in public versus private. Zen masters pay attention to what people do when they think no one is watching. This is where hypocrites reveal their true nature. In public, they're patient saints, kind, understanding, spiritually mature. In private, they're different creatures, irritable, demanding, petty, sometimes cruel. This happens because they haven't integrated their shadow. They've learned to perform virtue without developing actual virtue. It's like a fresh coat of paint over rotting wood. It looks good from a distance, but up close, the decay shows. Watch how they treat people who can't benefit them, the janitor, the server, their family when no other adults are around. How do they act when they're stuck in traffic? When they're tired? When things don't go their way? The Tao Te Ching says, the sage is the same in solitude as in company. Hypocrites are performers who need an audience to maintain their act. 5. The responsibility escape artist. Sign number 5, nothing is ever their fault. Buddha's second noble truth is about taking responsibility for our experience. Hypocrites have weaponized victim mentality to avoid all accountability. They preach personal responsibility but practice external blame. Every problem is someone else's fault. Every conflict they're in is the other person's issue. Every consequence they face is unfair treatment. They got fired because their boss was threatened by their success. Their relationships fail because others can't handle their honesty. Their children don't speak to them because society has poisoned their minds against family values. Zen Master Huang Pa taught, the foolish reject what they see, not what they think. Hypocrites reject what they see about themselves while believing what they think about themselves. Notice. They're always the victim of circumstances, never the creator of them. This isn't just denial, it's a complete inability to examine their role in their own suffering. 6. The moral authority complex. Sign number 6, they position themselves as everyone's moral teacher. There's an ancient Zen principle, the master never proclaims himself master. Hypocrites can't resist claiming moral superiority over others. They love giving unsolicited advice about how you should live. They position themselves as judges of right and wrong. Every conversation becomes a lecture about how others should improve. Listen for, I'm just being honest. Before saying something cruel. I'm not judging, but. Before delivering harsh judgment. I'm only telling you this because I care. Before attacking your character. This reveals insecurity disguised as authority. People who genuinely embody wisdom rarely need to announce it. Their presence teaches more than their words ever could. The Buddha specifically warned about spiritual pride, thinking you're more evolved than others. Hypocrites have turned spiritual concepts into weapons of superiority. 7. The Selective Memory System. Sign number 7, they remember every wrong done to them but forget every wrong they've done. This violates the Buddhist principle of right mindfulness, being honestly aware of our complete experience, including our failures. They can recall every slight, every broken promise, every disappointment from decades ago. But they have mysterious amnesia about their own mistakes, betrayals, and failures. They'll bring up something you did 5 years ago to win an argument, but can't remember doing the exact same thing last month. They keep detailed mental records of others' debts but their own accounts are always clean. Dogen taught that authentic practice requires facing our complete history, both our nobility and our failures. Hypocrites have edited their personal history to remove all unflattering scenes. This isn't just forgetfulness. It's selective editing of reality to maintain their self-image as the perpetual victim or hero of every story. 8. The Energy Vampire Signature, 9:45 to 11 o'clock. Sign number 8, being around them feels draining, despite their positive message. This is the most important sign because your energy system doesn't lie. Hypocrites create a specific energetic disturbance that sensitive people immediately feel. You leave conversations with them feeling confused, diminished, or somehow wrong about yourself. They take all the oxygen in the room with their moral performances and victim narratives. Authentic people radiate what Zen calls centered presence, you feel peaceful and grounded around them. Hypocrites emit scattered energy, they're performing, managing their image, and unconsciously feeding off your attention. If someone talks about love but you feel criticized around them, trust the feeling. If they speak about peace but create chaos wherever they go, trust the chaos. If they preach acceptance but you feel judged, trust your gut. Energy reveals what words conceal. Your body knows the difference between authentic presence and elaborate pretense. Your discomfort around certain good people isn't your problem, it's your wisdom. The Zen response strategy. So how do you handle hypocrites using ancient wisdom? First principle, don't try to expose or fix them. The Tao teaches, Wu Wei, effortless action. The most effortless response to hypocrites is often no response at all. Second principle, practice compassionate detachment. See their patterns clearly without making their healing your project. They're trapped in unconscious cycles that only they can break. Third principle, protect your energy field. You can have compassion for their suffering without absorbing their chaos. Set boundaries not from anger, but from wisdom. Fourth principle, don't engage in moral debates with them. They're not seeking truth, they're seeking to win. Save your energy for people who actually want to grow. Fifth principle, trust your intuition over their explanations. Your energy system is more reliable than their elaborate justifications. Sixth principle, focus on your own authenticity. The best response to hypocrisy is living with genuine integrity. But understand this, hypocrites aren't evil, they're unconscious. They're suffering from spiritual immaturity disguised as moral authority. Your job isn't to wake them up. Your job is to stay awake. The deeper teaching. Here's what Zen really teaches about hypocrisy: we all have these tendencies. The moment you think you're completely free from hypocrisy, you become the biggest hypocrite of all. Authentic Zen practice includes regularly examining where our actions don't align with our words. Ask yourself, where do I preach what I don't practice? Where do I demand from others what I don't deliver myself? Where do my public values conflict with my private choices? Use these 8 signs not just to identify hypocrites around you, but to catch hypocrite patterns within yourself. This transforms judgment into self-awareness. The path isn't to become perfect, it's to become authentic. To narrow the gap between who you appear to be and who you actually are. This is the true spiritual work. If these Zen insights have opened your eyes to patterns you hadn't recognized before, do 2 things. First, share this video with someone who needs this protection wisdom. Second, drop a comment sharing which sign hit closest to home, either in others or honestly, in yourself. Sometimes admitting our own hypocrite tendencies is the beginning of real authenticity. And if you want more ancient wisdom applied to modern relationship challenges, subscribe and hit that notification bell. Remember, the goal isn't to become a hypocrite detective. It's to become so genuinely authentic that pretense becomes obvious by contrast. As the Zen masters taught, when your light shines brightly, shadows become clearly visible. Protect your energy, trust your intuition, and surround yourself with people whose actions consistently match their words. Your peace depends on it.